Welcome to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast, where you can learn and be inspired by real-world examples of how technology is transforming businesses and reshaping industries in a language everyone can understand. Here is your host, Neil C. Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast. Today, I want to explore what happens when you find yourself with a great idea, but don't know what to do next. How do you use technology to turn that idea into a product? And when thinking about this, the universe lent me to Venkat, who has spent 2 decades creating and getting successful products to market. And also my good friend Raj, who's been on the show before, who is a technology entrepreneur who has worked on the product development teams over at Nokia, and I've got so many great stories too. But together, they're working on something called devToM, and that team represents decades of experience in product development with major technology and consumer product companies. And ultimately, devToM is a professional product development in an interactive step-by-step process and made it available to everyone. And this cloud-based software includes insights, tips and resources that can guide a user and optimize the quality of each stage of the development cycle. And while other companies employ entire departments devoted to product development, today's guest saw a need for a software solution that allows inventors, entrepreneurs, and indeed businesses to launch new products quickly, but at a minimal cost. And this is where things get really exciting, because devToM's proprietary AI modules provide additional support and gather data on your product and its processes, which ultimately speeds up the process and optimizes the ability to have a successful launch. All of that was more than enough to capture my attention. So today we have Raj in Glasgow, me in the West Midlands, and Venkat in sunny San Diego. But by the wonders of technology, you can listen to this conversation from 3 countries, wherever you are in the world. So let's get them on the show. So, massive warm welcome to the show, guys. Can you tell the listeners a little more about who you are and what you do?
So I'm Venkat Malela. So I live in California in sunny San Diego, and I've been kind of a product development engineer / marketing guy / a lot of other things for over 20 years. And I've worked in the automotive industry and consumer products. So I've had a long, interesting career in bringing products to life, products to market.
Awesome. Yeah. So we share the same passion of bringing good ideas, turning them into great products and bringing them to the market. That's what I have been doing for the past decade as well, mostly in mobile and telecom corporates. And I have also built and scaled a startup product, basically, which we out-licensed later in America. I'm based in not so sunny Glasgow in Scotland. But besides the weather, I have absolutely nothing else I would complain about here. We have a great team of sort of creative people and developers and designers as part of what we are building at Innovate from Zero. And I got to meet Venkat. We got in touch on LinkedIn, and we shared the same common interest in bringing products to market. And we'll go dig a little deeper, maybe how tech can help do that. So, yeah, and we've been working together since last year remotely. The entire team is remote.
Excellent. Well, it's a real pleasure to have you both on the show today. And before we actually go in and talk about devToM, could you maybe set the scene and help the listeners understand a little more about the role of product development and innovation? And also, what are the opportunities and challenges around that area at the moment? Just to help people listening where we're at on that landscape at the minute.
Product development and innovation are the lifeblood of companies and industries. That's what I believe in. Without new products or making your existing products better for your customers, companies or industries can't survive. And, you take any industry, whether it's from the automotive or consumer products or pretty much anything, it's the whole pipeline of new products which comes through is what keeps companies going. Now, in terms of the opportunities and challenges, there are several. It's just the whole process of getting a product to market. And one of the big issues, I think, is people get excited by just the idea, and they forget about the execution, or maybe not forget, but they don't really pay a lot of attention to the execution. And that's where the challenges come in, the waste comes in, and companies who don't execute well, they don't survive. And it's not always the first person who comes to the market. It's always the one who executes well. And I think that's where the opportunity is, as well as a challenge, executing well. And if you can find ways to execute on product development, you can be successful. So that's where this whole idea of devToM, that's really the emphasis of devToM, on execution of product development.
I think when we look at why good ideas turn into great products, and one of the key pieces is to get the execution right. The inspiration is really important because without that, you will never start. But building a good product is more about understanding the problem it needs to solve and kind of innovating on that customer perspective, as well as then seeing what how does the team and the tech and all that fits to address the challenge. And it's just the nature of the game. There's only 3% or so good products that really make and succeed in the market. And we kind of thought maybe there's a way of using tech to help increase those numbers of successful products that launch in the market.
And one of the reasons I'm so excited to get you both onto the show today is my understanding is that the devToM Product Intelligent Insights module is actually helping businesses do the right kind of research and get those useful insights, but in a fraction of the time that it would take you to do a ton of Google searches or go around looking and searching for experts. But can you expand on that and tell listeners a little bit more about exactly what devToM is and the kind of problems that it's solving?
Yeah, sure. So the devToM Product Intelligence Insights, I know that's kind of a mouthful. We're still probably coming up with the right name, but it's really the first part of the product development. The devToM, the product has evolved. We started off with maybe a very large version where you could do everything from start to finish. But we found that the users were getting a little confused, so we broke it down into sections. So this first module, which what we're calling as the product intelligence module, is simply a research tool. Now research is done with Google search, and you can get 2 million hits or 1 million hits, something humongous. What devToM is doing is taking your idea. You can interact with it through just some simple statements and express your idea or express your problem. And using AI, it actually extracts the essence of your idea and does searches either over the internet or data behind it, which we keep enriching, and also categorizes it in terms of common product development concepts. So, for example, you can look at industry trends, you can look at product reviews, you can look at competitors, you can look at patents, and it categorizes everything with just a click of a button. And then you can go into each category and see what you want to look at. And if you want to do this with a Google search or any other search engine, it could possibly take you 10 times the amount of effort. So that's the idea. And so far, the results have been encouraging.
Yeah, and to add to that, it's just, I think devToM is a tool I wish I had every time I was creating a new product in the past. It's just one of those things once you get to sort of follow a framework, a process, and a lot of it is in the making just now. But like Venkat pointed out, the first module, it's all about it's more of a research insights toolkit. Which when I kind of play with and get sort of the keywords right, I get a lot of insight into the market, the other products that exist, similar products, competition, even Kickstarter projects. So it's kind of what's coming in the horizon, look at the reviews, look at the pain points the other products in the market has, and hence find out how does our product, how can we do it better? And then there is also the patent insights and stuff, which is basically who else is patenting things in this space and what should I be knowing? Do I have something more novel? Then maybe I should consider protecting our novel invention as well. So all these in a snapshot and in a dashboard, that's pretty much the starting phase of devToM. And we have tons of more ideas and things we think we can take it forward with as well.
And I'm curious, what is the story behind devToM and embracing remote working culture? Because I feel there's always a story behind a company like this, and that's usually incredibly exciting too.
Yeah, it's kind of a necessity. I don't think it was planned that way. Yeah. It's really difficult to just start off a working space and get a lot of people right there. Right now the world is full of smart people and intelligent people, and it's very easy to get in touch with them. And it's so much easier to find the right people in a remote location, connect with them, and then work that way. This communication tools are great, and you can work across time zones. So it just started that way, and somehow it ended up that we have one person in the US, we have a couple of people in UK and Greece and in India. So it just worked out that way, and it's working out very well. And I would absolutely like to continue that. And in fact, after we started this way, I started reading up about Basecamp and other companies which have embraced this. And I didn't even know that this was a thing, like remote working culture, until I read about it. But Raj probably has some other perspectives on this. He has more experience with this.
I'm sure. Well, I mean, traditionally, I've been also mostly in office-based jobs, and we still have our offices in the city center of Glasgow, but we keep a small team here, and we work a lot with, building up this remote work environment. It's a more new thing we are embracing, and it's about creating some digital infrastructures to make it happen. Even when hiring remote is no different from your regular HR process when you would hire a full-time employee, let's say in your regular workplace. But it's just the tech and the whole embracing the digital nomad kind of a trend that's going on, all with basically if you have a laptop with a good speed internet connection, you can connect and work with people anywhere. So we are using Slack, we are using Trello, Slack more effectively actually, and kind of just creating that culture. And so far it has worked out really well.
And are there any trends that you're seeing, especially around the areas such as data science and in product development? Are you seeing any big changes or big trends in that area at the moment?
I think it's happening. It's more fragmented, in my opinion, right now. Data science, big data, those are the buzzwords right now. You see a lot of business intelligence tools. Microsoft is a big player in this right now, obviously. They're all talking about insights, what you can extract from unstructured data. And when it comes to product development, it's very fragmented. People really don't talk about product development and data science together. But you can see, especially in some of the technical areas, when it comes to R&D, there are certain articles which I've read. A lot of universities are actually doing this, where they have the research papers as a part of a big data set, and you can extract concepts. There are industries which are using machine learning modules. But I feel it's very fragmented at this point, but I think it's going to happen. Whether devToM does it or other people do it, I think a lot of people will be doing it and will be adding their own flavor. But at the end of the day, product development is going to get influenced by data science, because there's a lot of data out there which people have generated over decades, and it's with the new tools now, it's going to be available to everybody in the form of insights.
Yeah, and I think it will also help augment the whole innovation process, because you can learn from others' failures. There's a lot of past data on certain kind of product features, trends, and it's just about bringing all that together into meaningful insights that can be used by the human product owners, product managers, people building new products. How can data science basically guide them in the right direction? And it's then all about building quickly, launching quickly, testing things out. And that trend, I think, is very much just picking up. And AI, augmented rather than purely artificial intelligence, I think is going to play a big role going forward.
And I'm glad you mentioned AI there, because we're talking of the buzzwords out there. And of course, artificial intelligence is a big one of those at the moment. And rather than talk about the hype or fueling that hype, I'm always interested in how that technology is going to help in areas where the business leaders listening are going to be expecting it to help with. So do you think that AI can assist with product development? And if so, how?
It's already doing it, but for product development. So let me see if I can explain devToM in the whole context of AI. So what we're calling devToM is basically our mascot Tom. It's we have that set up, but Tom is this expert, this virtual expert, who is sitting with you while you're developing your product and nudging you with insights and pointing you in the right direction. So that's really AI, and it's just a combination of information which is out there and this intelligence and structure which we have built into devToM. And the combination of that gives you the right direction. So essentially, that's what AI is doing. Instead of having a real person, a real intelligence, you have this augmented intelligence, as Raj pointed out. And it's helping you with various aspects and stages of product development, right from the market research or product intelligence, which is what we have right now, to defining product features, understanding maybe manufacturing methods or suppliers or prototyping, everything which is important for product development. But you have this guidance which is available to you instead of having a real person sit with you. That's one way of how AI can help with product development. But there's obviously several other ways, other specifics which it can also do in terms of maybe using machine learning to help with, for example, design of fabrics or identifying colors or vision systems. So I could go into a lot of details here, but overall, yes, it's basically just replacing human intelligence with augmented intelligence to do the right kind of guidance.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll just add on to what Venkat just summarized quite well is I think it's just the fact that there are certain things AI can even do better. So for instance, if you type something on the Google or Bing search, you get 3 million results. No human is going to be able to read through all of that. But AI can do that in a matter of minutes. And then it's about extracting some key concepts. That's part of what's the natural language processing NLP module. And then the way we are trying basically to train this to keep delivering more and more meaningful insights. So AI plays a big augmented role. And I'm just putting myself in the shoes as a product owner or product manager. I'm just looking for everything that's out there that can help me make some key decisions on this product before I launch it in the market that would either make or break the product. So it's a tool we are building for ourselves as much. And I would also say me and Venkat, we wrote a little blog post on this topic, how AI can guide product development. Welcome to check that out, where we take this discussion a little deeper.
And for those business leaders that could be listening to this podcast today, what would you say to them to ensure that they go out and check out devToM for product development? What would you do to convince them?
Overall, we can start with a very general statement that, yes, this devToM will help you develop better products. But if you dive into the details, we've actually talked to several business leaders, and some of the big pain points which they have is, how can I extract more from my employees? How can I give them tools where they can get better? And it's sometimes not feasible or very expensive to hire the expert talent. So how can we make experts out of, say, someone who has very limited experience? And devToM can play a huge role there, where we can actually give you, say, the collective intelligence out in the world in terms of data out on the internet or data which we are constantly updating. But at the same time, we can also take information which is there within the company, which is all unstructured. Maybe these are emails or documents created by past employees and experts, but nobody knows how to make sense of that. And devToM can actually take all this information and using the structure which we have built in, which is very specific to product development, it can extract insights for you based on the product which you're developing right now, or maybe a problem you're solving. So it really makes companies better, faster, makes product development, much more cost effective, and just empowers their employees. So I think this could be a great tool to improve your success rate on product development.
So what's your grand vision for devToM? Is there anything that you're particularly excited about and where you're heading?
Yes. When I thought about this idea, my whole point was, how can we empower people? You look at people with ideas out there. It started off with, okay, can we help people with ideas? I see more and more that there's a lot of people with ideas, but they don't know how to execute. They just go to some supposed expert or somebody who can patent it, but they have no clue how to take it to market. But so there was this slogan which I had come up with, can we make the world a better place, one product at a time? So how can we help people maybe all over the world? This is kind of an evolving global economy where even in countries in Latin America, in Africa, in India, you got all these people who have these ideas, but they just don't know what to do with it. And some of these ideas, if they're executed on properly, they could change the world. So can we do something like that? This is really the grand vision. Can there be a tool which can help people develop their product and execute on it much more efficiently and before they lose hope? So that's really the grand vision. From a B2B standpoint, we are trying to help smaller companies right now. But how can we make it more accessible to individual entrepreneurs, maybe students in universities who are just starting out? Can we give them a tool to just bring their idea to life much faster? I don't know if that counts as a grand vision, but that's really the only thing I have.
No, it really does. And then some, I would argue. But for anyone that wants to find out more information and check out what you guys are doing, can you just point them in the direction of your website and also the best way of reaching out and contacting your team if they feel a bit inspired by listening to that grand vision you've just spelled out?
Well, we do have a website. It's devtom.ai. It's not, we have not focused a lot on the content. It's been kind of in an experimental mode. We've been working with people trying to, some companies and people trying to perfect the product. Maybe perfect is a wrong phrase here, but just to make sure the application is going to help people get successful or become successful. But there is enough information there. There is contact information. You can send a quick email. You can actually also sign up for a trial. It's not perfect yet, the application, but you can sign up for a trial and provide feedback and get in touch with us. And we are ready to help anyone who wants to sign up and engage with us.
Well, I always say at the end of every episode that technology works best when it brings people together. And hearing you talk there, I mean, originally this whole vision came from helping people to become more successful and empowering people to execute their ideas. And can we make the world a better place, one product at a time? Yes, you're using sophisticated technology, but it's people at the heart of everything. And that is what I find so inspiring about that grand vision that you spelled out a few moments ago. But more than anything, just a big thank you to you both for taking the time to come and speak with me today. Thank you.
Welcome, Neil.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Although it's very early days for devToM, I love what they're doing here. But are you working on a new product, or maybe you need to make improvements to an existing one? Could the devToM Product Intelligent Insights module actually help you do the right kind of research? Or get insights on competitors or similar products out in the market, not to mention market trends, regulatory challenges, and intellectual property and so much more. It's such a vast landscape. But could this solution help you use those insights and make the right decisions, like selecting the right supplier or the right market that you're going to sell your product in. Tech that enables inventors, entrepreneurs and businesses to launch new products quickly and at minimal costs. Sounds incredibly exciting to me. But product development is not my area of expertise, and it could be yours. And if it is, I want you to email me your insights, opinions and expertise to techblogwriter@outlook.com, tweet me at Neil C. Hughes, or pop by my website, techblogwriter.co.uk. But that's it for another episode, so I will see you tomorrow bright and early. We'll have another guest lined up, ready and waiting. So thanks for listening, and until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thank you for listening to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast with Neil C. Hughes. Remember, technology works best when it brings people together.